The rejection letter arrives on my birthday. Again. My heart pounds as I recognize my sister Maya's handwriting on the package marked Return to Sender. The scent of vanilla perfume still clings to the wrapping paper, the same fragrance she wore when she stole my acceptance letter to Prestige Academy 3 years ago. But this time, I'm reborn with knowledge they don't expect. The weight of the package trembles in my hands as I realize what's about to unfold. Happy 18th birthday to me, I whisper, my voice barely audible over the morning traffic outside our cramped apartment. The irony tastes bitter on my tongue. The same day I was supposed to celebrate becoming an adult, Maya decides to remind me exactly where I stand in this family. I tear open the package with shaking fingers, and there it is, the vintage jewelry box I'd spent 3 months' worth of babysitting money on. Every dollar had been earned watching the Henderson twins while Maya lounged by their pool, flirting with their older brother. The mahogany surface gleams mockingly under the kitchen light, still wrapped in the tissue paper I'd chosen so carefully. A note falls out, written in Maya's perfect cursive. I don't accept charity from failures. Maybe try again when you actually accomplish something. M. The sound of tearing paper echoes through the hallway as Maya's voice carries from the living room. She's destroying something. Probably the handmade card I'd spent hours crafting, complete with pressed flowers from our grandmother's garden. Each rip feels like a slice through my chest. Maya, what are you doing? Mom's voice drifts over, but there's no real concern in it. Just mild curiosity, the way someone might ask about the weather. Just throwing away some garbage, Maya replies, her laughter bright as wind chimes. Someone left me a really pathetic birthday gift. Can you believe people still think I need their pity? I edge closer to the doorway, my bare feet silent on the cold tile. The metallic taste of blood fills my mouth as I bite my tongue to keep from screaming. Through the crack in the door, I watch my parents exchange one of their looks, the kind that speaks volumes without a single word. Dad adjusts his glasses and returns to his newspaper. Well, you know how some people are, sweetheart. They mean well, but they don't understand their place. Mom nods, stirring her coffee with deliberate slowness. The spoon clinks against the ceramic mug like a countdown timer. It's actually quite sad when you think about it. Some people never learn to accept reality. My hands clench into fists so tight my nails dig crescents into my palms. They're talking about me like I'm not standing 10 feet away, like I'm some stranger who wandered into their perfect family portrait and refused to leave. Besides, Maya continues, her voice sweetening to that saccharine tone she uses when she wants to appear generous, I'm sure whoever sent it needs the money more than I do. They should probably return it and buy something practical instead. The familiar ache settles in my chest, the hollow feeling that's been my constant companion for 18 years. But underneath it, something else stirs. Something darker and more determined than I've ever felt before. I slip back to my room, closing the door with barely a whisper. The jewelry box sits on my desk like evidence of my own foolishness. 3 months of work, 3 months of hope, 3 months of believing that maybe this time would be different. But as I stare at my reflection in my laptop screen, I see something Maya doesn't know about. Something that changes everything. The stack of mail hidden under my mattress feels heavier than it should. For months, I've been intercepting deliveries, growing suspicious when nothing ever arrived, despite applying for dozens of scholarships and programs. Last week, I finally had the courage to check the mailbox first. What I found made my blood run cold. Acceptance letters, 3 of them. Full scholarships to prestigious internship programs that could change my entire future. All opened, all declined, all signed with my forged signature in Maya's careful handwriting, but she made one crucial mistake. She kept the originals in her jewelry box, probably as trophies of her conquest. My hands tremble as I photograph each document with my phone, the camera flash illuminating her crimes. The evidence uploads to my hidden cloud folder with a satisfying beep. The first letter is from Morrison Industries' Summer Leadership Program, a coveted position that accepts only 20 students nationwide. The second is from the Metropolitan Art Institute's Young Curator Program. The third makes my breath catch. Grandma's old friend, Mrs. Chen, who runs the city's most successful tech startup, had personally recommended me for their junior developer track. All of them gone. all of them stolen by the golden child who already has everything handed to her. My phone buzzes with a notification, making me jump. An unknown number has sent a text. I know what Maya declined on your behalf. Meet me tomorrow at Central Cafe, 3 p.m. We need to talk. V. My heart hammers against my ribs. Someone knows. Someone else has figured out what Maya's been doing. I screenshot the message and add it to my evidence folder, my fingers moving with newfound purpose. Whatever game Maya thinks she's playing, she's about to learn that even the quietest players can make the loudest moves. Outside my window, the afternoon sun casts long shadows across my childhood bedroom. For 18 years, I've lived in this room, dreaming of the day I could escape and build something better. Maya's laughter drifts through the thin walls, probably entertaining friends with stories of her latest conquest. But as I stare at the evidence folder on my phone, now containing 47 photos of forged documents, deleted text messages I've recovered, and recorded conversations where my parents discussed their preference for their talented daughter, I realize something profound. I'm not the victim in this story anymore, I'm the author. And Maya has no idea that her favorite punching bag just grew claws. The scent of chalk dust and disappointment fills Professor Chen's empty classroom as I stand alone at the podium, my carefully prepared presentation slides glowing uselessly on the unused projector screen. My heart pounds with humiliation as footsteps echo in the hallway, Maya's deliberate clicking heels announcing her arrival to witness my failure. "I'm so sorry, Professor Chen," I stammer, my voice cracking as he packs up his briefcase with slow, methodical movements. "I thought the presentation was scheduled for today. Maya told me." "Miss Rivera," Professor Chen interrupts, his disappointment cutting through me like a blade. His sigh echoes in the empty space, heavy with the weight of lost opportunities. "The presentation deadline was yesterday. I sent multiple reminders to the class email list." Maya appears in the doorway, her expression perfectly crafted into concerned innocence. "Oh no, did you get confused again? I tried to remind you, but you seemed so confident about the date." Her voice drips with false sympathy while her eyes gleam with satisfaction. The metallic taste of rage fills my mouth as I realize what she's done. She intercepted my emails, deleted the reminders, and fed me false information knowing exactly what would happen. My hands shake as I gather my unused materials, the sound of papers rustling like dried leaves in the autumn of my academic hopes. "I understand you'll need to assign me a failing grade," I whisper, my voice barely audible over the air conditioning's hum. "I take full responsibility for my mistake." Maya's smirk widens as she leans against the doorframe, arms crossed in triumph. The vanilla scent of her perfume mixes with my own cold sweat, creating a nauseating cocktail of victory and defeat. But as I apologize profusely and accept my fate, I'm already moving to my quiet counterattack. My phone buzzes in my pocket, a reminder I set to email Professor Chen once this inevitable scene played out. In my dormitory that night, I composed the most important email of my academic career. My fingers tremble as I attach the evidence. Time-stamped screenshots of Maya's deleted messages, where she bragged about fixing another one of Riley's little problems. The email settings she changed on my account to redirect my school communications to her secondary address, and the recorded conversation where she laughed with her roommate about keeping the family charity case in her place. The send button glows under my cursor like a promise of justice. 3 days later, Maya gets called to the dean's office for academic misconduct while I'm offered a makeup presentation. I watch through the library window as she storms across campus, her perfect composure finally cracking. Her hands gesture wildly as she talks on her phone, probably calling our parents to spin some story about how I'm trying to frame her. But the real test comes at Jake Morrison's party the following Saturday. The bass from the speakers vibrates through my chest as I enter the crowded basement, already feeling out of place among the designer clothes and confident laughter. The air smells like expensive cologne and cheap beer, a combination that makes my stomach turn. Maya spots me immediately, her eyes lighting up with predatory glee. "Oh my God, everyone! Look who decided to show up!" she announces, her voice cutting through the music like a knife. The crowd turns toward me with curious expressions, their conversations dying as Maya commands their attention. Jake Morrison, tall, gorgeous, and completely out of my league, looks up from his conversation with confused interest. His dark hair catches the colored lights as Maya moves to stand beside him, one perfectly manicured hand resting possessively on his arm. "Jake, honey, I need to warn you about something," Maya says, her voice carrying the perfect note of concerned sisterly protection. She pulls out her phone, scrolling to what look like desperate text messages. "My sister has been, well, let's just say she's developed an unhealthy obsession with you." My blood turns to ice as she displays screenshots of messages I never sent. Increasingly desperate declarations of love, detailed fantasies about our future together, and even threats against any girl who gets too close to him. The forgeries are perfect, complete with my contact information and timestamp details that would fool anyone without deep technical knowledge. "This is so embarrassing," Maya continues, her voice thick with false sympathy. "I've tried to talk to her about healthy boundaries, but she just won't listen. She even created fake social media accounts to stalk your family." The crowd murmurs with a mixture of shock and disgust. Jake's face hardens as he studies the fake messages, his expression shifting from confusion to revulsion. The sound of my heart breaking echoes in my ears like shattering glass. "That's really disturbing," Jake says slowly, taking a step back from me. "I had no idea. Maya, thanks for warning me." Tears blur my vision as I flee the party, my cheeks burning with humiliation. Behind me, I hear Maya's voice rising above the music. "I'm so sorry everyone had to see that. I really hope she gets the help she needs." But as I run through the cold night air, my phone recording everything from inside my jacket pocket, I know Maya has made her second crucial mistake. She's underestimated my ability to plan ahead. The next morning, Jake Morrison's anonymous confession page explodes with a new post. The recording is crystal clear, Maya's voice bragging to her friends about her masterpiece of manipulation, describing in detail how she created the fake screenshots and even hired a tech student to spoof the metadata. "You should have seen Riley's face," Maya's recorded voice laughs. "She actually thought people might believe her over me. It's almost sad how pathetic she is." Her friend's voice chimes in. "What if she tries to prove it was fake? With what evidence?" Maya's laughter sounds like breaking glass. "I'm the computer science major, not her. She probably doesn't even know what metadata is." The comments section fills with shocked responses within hours. Screenshots spread across every social platform as Maya's carefully constructed reputation crumbles in real time. By noon, #MayaLied is trending on the school's social feeds. I watch the destruction unfold from my dorm room, my hands steady as I sip my coffee. The bitter taste seems appropriate for the bitter justice being served. Through my window, I can see Maya running across the quad toward the parking lot, her phone pressed to her ear as she tries to manage the crisis. But I'm not done yet. My phone buzzes with a text from the same unknown number. "Impressive work with the recording. You're more resourceful than they gave you credit for. Still interested in that conversation? Vivi." This time I respond immediately. "Yes, Central Cafe, 3 p.m. "Perfect. Look for the woman in the red suit. And Riley, bring everything you have on Maya's financial activities. Trust me on this one." Financial activities? My blood chills as I realize what she might be referring to. The bank statements I've been too afraid to look at closely. The trust fund Grandma left me that I've never accessed because Maya always handled family financial matters. My hands shake as I log into my banking app for the first time in months. The account balance shows $0.43, $50,000 gone. My vision blurs as I scroll through the transaction history. Monthly withdrawals of $5,000, all authorized with my forged signature, all transferred to an account belonging to Maya's Art Supplies, LLC. Art supplies. She stole my inheritance to buy art supplies. The familiar rage builds in my chest, but this time it's different. This time it's cold, calculated, and patient. I screenshot every transaction, every forged authorization, every piece of evidence that will destroy her completely. Tomorrow's meeting with the mysterious woman can't come soon enough. But first, I have one more recording to make. The fresh ink smell of bank statements fills my tiny dorm room as I spread the evidence across my desk like a war general planning an attack. Each page trembles in my hands as the magnitude of Maya's theft becomes clear. $50,000 stolen systematically over 18 months. all while she played the role of concerned older sister helping me manage my finances. My heart pounds as I photograph each statement, the camera flash illuminating the damning paper trail. Every forged signature, every fraudulent withdrawal, every lie documented in black and white. The evidence folder on my phone now contains enough material to send Maya to prison. But when I confront our parents that evening, their reaction destroys what little faith I had left in this family. You knew. My voice cracks as I spread the statements across the kitchen table. The papers scatter like fallen leaves, each one a testament to their betrayal. You knew she was stealing from me and you let it happen? Mom sets down her coffee mug with deliberate calm, the ceramic clicking against the wooden table like a judge's gavel. Her face shows no surprise, no shock, no guilt. Just the tired expression of someone caught in a lie they're too lazy to maintain. "Sweetheart," she says, her voice dripping with condescension. "Maya needed that money for her art program at the university. You weren't using it anyway." Dad doesn't even look up from his newspaper. The pages rustle as he turns to the sports section, dismissing my pain with practiced indifference. Besides, Maya has more potential. It's an investment in the family's future. The words hit me like physical blows. I grip the edge of the table to keep from falling, my knuckles white against the dark wood. The familiar scent of Mom's apple pie candle burns my nostrils, a mockery of the warm family moments I once believed were real. "That money was from Grandma," I whisper, my voice barely audible over the kitchen's humming refrigerator. "She left it specifically for my education." "And it is being used for education," Mom replies smoothly. "Maya's education. Grandma would understand. She always wanted the best for both of you girls." The metallic taste of blood fills my mouth as I bite my tongue to keep from screaming. Maya appears in the doorway, probably drawn by the sound of my pain like a moth to flame. Her silk pajamas rustle as she leans against the frame, arms crossed in casual dominance. "Is there a problem?" she asks innocently, though her eyes gleam with satisfaction at my obvious distress. "Riley just discovered the trust fund arrangements," Dad explains without emotion, finally folding his newspaper. "We were explaining how family investments work." Maya's expression shifts to fake concern, her hand flying to her chest in mock surprise. "Oh no, you didn't think that money was actually yours, did you?" "Riley, honey, you're 18 now. You need to understand how the real world works." My hands shake as I gather the scattered statements, each movement precise despite my trembling rage. "I understand perfectly," I say quietly, my voice steady as glass. "I understand exactly who my family really is." "Don't be dramatic," Mom sighs, returning to her coffee as if we're discussing the weather. "Family resources go where they can do the most good. Maya's art career will benefit everyone eventually." But as I nod quietly and pretend to accept their logic, I'm already 3 steps ahead. My phone sits in my pocket, recording every word of their casual confession. The admission of guilt, the acknowledgement of theft, the complete lack of remorse, all captured in crystal clear audio. "You're right," I say finally, my voice calm despite the storm raging inside me. "I need to learn how the real world works." The next morning, I sit across from Grandma's lawyer in his mahogany-paneled office, my evidence folder spread across his massive desk like a prosecutor's case file. Mr. Williams' face grows darker with each document, his silver pen tapping against his legal pad in a rhythm that sounds like a countdown timer. "This is clear-cut identity theft and fraud," he says finally, his voice grave as thunder. "Your sister and parents could face serious criminal charges." The leather of his chair creaks as he leans back, studying me with newfound respect. "Your grandmother specifically included provisions in her will to prevent exactly this kind of abuse. She suspected something like this might happen." My heart aches at the thought of Grandma trying to protect me even from beyond the grave. The scent of fresh roses from the lawyer's desk arrangement reminds me of her garden, where she taught me that even the most beautiful flowers need strong roots to survive. "What are my options?" I ask, my voice stronger than I've ever heard it. "I'm freezing all accounts immediately and initiating fraud charges with the district attorney," Mr. Williams explains, his fingers already moving across his computer keyboard. We'll also be seeking full restitution with interest and penalties. That afternoon, Maya's world begins to crumble in real time. I'm studying in the library when I hear the commotion outside, Maya's voice rising to a shriek as her credit card gets declined at her favorite boutique. Through the window, I watch her argue with the sales clerk, her perfect composure finally cracking as reality sets in. My phone buzzes with increasingly frantic texts from family members. Mom, what did you do? Maya's cards aren't working. Dad, this is going too far. Call off whatever you started. Maya, you vindictive little bitch. I'll make you pay for this. But it's the family meeting that evening that provides the most satisfaction. I arrive at the apartment to find them huddled around the kitchen table, financial documents scattered like the remains of their carefully constructed lies. The air smells like desperation and cheap cologne as Dad paces back and forth, his usually perfect hair disheveled from running his hands through it. How could you do this to your own family? Mom demands, her voice shaking with rage and fear. We raised you, fed you, put a roof over your head. And I've been grateful for 18 years, I reply calmly, taking a seat at the table like I'm chairing a board meeting. But gratitude doesn't mean accepting theft. Maya slams her hand against the table, making the salt shaker jump. That money should have been mine anyway. I'm the one with talent. I'm the one with a future. Actually, I say, my voice steady as granite, you're the one facing federal fraud charges. The silence that follows is deafening. Even the kitchen clock seems to tick louder, counting down the seconds until their perfect family facade completely collapses. Federal charges? Dad whispers, his face going pale. Riley, you can't be serious. I pull out my phone and play the recording from last night. Their casual admission of guilt, their complete lack of remorse, their dismissal of my pain as irrelevant. Maya's voice sounds particularly damning as she laughs about how easy it was to forge my signature. I've been documenting everything for months, I explain, as their faces drain of color. Every forged document, every fraudulent transaction, every conversation where you discussed your crimes. It's all here, and it's all going to the district attorney tomorrow. Maya lunges toward me, but I dodge easily, my body moving with newfound confidence. You can't do this. I'm your sister. Sisters don't steal from each other, I reply, standing to leave. And families don't choose favorites based on who's more convenient to love. As I walk toward the door, Mom's voice cracks behind me. Riley, please. We can work this out. We're still family. I pause in the doorway, my hand on the cool metal handle. No, I say quietly. Family protects each other. What you are is strangers who happen to share a house with me for 18 years. The door closes behind me with a soft click, sealing their fate and my freedom. But as I walk down the hallway, my phone buzzes with a text from that mysterious number. Beautiful work. I think it's time we meet. Tomorrow morning, Morrison Industries Building, 47th floor. Ask for Victoria Chen. And Riley, everything is about to change. Morrison Industries, the same company whose internship Maya stole from me. The same family name as Jake Morrison, who humiliated me at that party. My heart pounds with anticipation and fear as I realize whatever's coming next will be bigger than anything I've planned so far. The elevator ride to my future starts tomorrow. The Morrison Industries building towers above me like a glass cathedral, its reflective surface catching the morning sun and throwing light across the bustling street below. My hands tremble as I enter the marble lobby, the sound of my nervous footsteps echoing despite the thick carpeting. The scent of expensive leather and fresh flowers fills the air, the smell of real power, not the desperate perfume of people pretending to have it. Riley Chen? The receptionist's voice is warm as honey, nothing like the dismissive tones I've grown accustomed to. Miss Victoria Chen is expecting you on the 47th floor. The elevator ride feels like ascending to another world. Through the glass walls, the city shrinks below me until I can see the apartment building where Maya is probably pacing and planning her next manipulation. But up here, surrounded by the quiet hum of success and possibility, that world feels impossibly small. Victoria Chen, no relation to Professor Chen, despite the name, greets me at the elevator doors. She's the kind of woman who commands attention without demanding it, her red suit immaculate and her silver hair styled in a way that suggests both wisdom and authority. When she shakes my hand, her grip is firm and warm, like she's welcoming me home. Riley, she says, and something in her voice makes my heart skip. I've been looking forward to this meeting for 18 years. We settle into her corner office where floor-to-ceiling windows offer a view that makes me dizzy with altitude and possibility. The leather of her briefcase creaks as she opens it, revealing documents that look official and life-changing. Her movements are precise, deliberate, like someone handling precious artifacts. What I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, Victoria begins, her voice gentle but steady. But I need you to listen carefully, because everything you thought you knew about your life is about to change. She slides a DNA test result across the massive mahogany desk. My hands shake as I read the header. Morrison Chen Genetic Analysis. The numbers swim before my eyes, but the conclusion is crystal clear in bold letters. 99.97% probability of familial match. There was a mistake at Mercy General Hospital 18 years ago, Victoria explains, her voice soft with years of contained emotion. 2 babies born within hours of each other. 2 families who went home with the wrong daughters. The weight of the documents feels surreal in my trembling hands. Birth certificates, hospital records, investigation reports spanning nearly 2 decades, all pointing to the same impossible truth. Your biological parents are David and Elena Morrison, Victoria continues. They've been searching for you since the day they discovered the switch when you were 6 months old. Morrison. The name echoes in my mind like a bell tolling. Jake Morrison, not my crush, but my brother. The internship Maya stole from my own family's company. The wealth, the privilege, the opportunities I've watched from the outside, all of it was supposed to be mine. But why now? I whisper, my voice barely audible over the blood rushing in my ears. Why wait until now to find me? Victoria's expression softens with something that might be regret. Because we only just located you. The family that took you, the Riveras, they moved frequently, changed addresses, even changed your last name when they got married. It took our investigators years to track you down. A new document appears on the desk. Financial records showing the monthly payments my adoptive parents received for caring for the Morrison heir. $50,000 every year supposed to cover my education, healthcare, and living expenses. Money that clearly never reached me, based on my childhood of secondhand clothes and shared textbooks. They were paid to care for you properly, Victoria explains, her voice hardening with controlled anger. They were supposed to love you like their own daughter while we searched. Instead, she doesn't need to finish. We both know how that story ends. My phone buzzes with a text from Maya. Whatever you're planning with those lawyers, you're making a huge mistake. Family is forever, Riley. I show Victoria the message, and her laugh is sharp as broken glass. Family is forever, she repeats. How ironic considering she's not actually your family at all. The truth hits me like a physical blow. Maya, my tormentor, my rival, my sister, isn't my sister at all. She's the daughter the Riveras were supposed to get, the child who matched their personalities and priorities. No wonder they preferred her. She's actually theirs. Where is my real family now? I ask, my voice stronger than I expected. Victoria smiles, and for the first time since I entered this office, she looks truly happy. They're in the conference room next door, waiting for permission to meet their daughter. They've been waiting for this moment every day for 18 years. My legs feel unsteady as we walk to the conference room. The mahogany doors open to reveal a couple in their 40s, elegant, successful, and with eyes that mirror my own. The woman gasps when she sees me, her hand flying to her mouth as tears begin to flow. Riley, she whispers, and the word sounds like a prayer. Our beautiful girl. David Morrison, my father, steps forward with careful movements like he's approaching a wild animal that might bolt. We know this is overwhelming, he says, his voice thick with emotion. We don't expect anything from you except the chance to know you. But it's Elena, my mother, who breaks my composure completely. She doesn't rush forward or demand hugs or claim ownership. Instead, she simply says, "We're so proud of the woman you've become, despite everything you've endured. Your strength, your intelligence, your integrity. Those came from you, not from us." The scent of her expensive perfume mingles with something deeper, the indefinable smell of belonging, of coming home to a place I never knew existed. We want to offer you everything we should have given you from the beginning, David explains, gesturing to a stack of legal documents. Full family recognition, access to your trust fund, your position in the company, and whatever legal support you need to deal with the people who stole your childhood. Trust fund. The words echo in my mind as Victoria slides another document across the table. Not $50,000, $50 million growing with compound interest since the day I was born. Enough money to buy and sell the Rivera family 1,000 times over. The Morrison family has been building this fortune for 4 generations, Elena explains, her voice steady despite her tears. As our daughter, half of everything we've built belongs to you. I stare at the numbers on the page, my mind struggling to process the magnitude of my inheritance. Private investigators, legal teams, unlimited resources, everything I need to make Maya and the Riveras pay for what they've done to me. But more than that, I have something I've never had before. A family that wants me not because I'm convenient, but because I'm theirs. There's one more thing, Victoria says, her voice carrying a note of anticipation. Maya submitted an application for our exclusive summer internship program yesterday. As the newest member of the Morrison Family Board, you'll be reviewing all applications personally. My heart pounds with the delicious irony of it all. Maya applying to work for the family she never knew she was betraying. Maya putting her future in the hands of the sister she spent 18 years destroying. Maya about to learn that karma doesn't just come back around. Sometimes it comes back with a $50 million inheritance and a boardroom full of lawyers. I look around the conference room at my real family, people who searched for me, who valued me, who never stopped believing I was worth finding. The afternoon sun streams through the windows, casting everything in golden light like a promise of better days ahead. When do we start? I ask, and my voice carries the confidence of someone who finally knows where she belongs. Elena's smile could power the entire city. We already have. Maya's application arrives on my desk with the confidence of someone who believes the world owes her everything. I sit in my new corner office at Morrison Industries, the city spread below me like a chessboard where I now control all the pieces. The expensive leather of my executive chair still smells new, a tangible reminder of how quickly everything has changed. Her portfolio gleams with glossy photographs and carefully crafted lies. Maya Rivera, future leader in art and technology integration. The cover declares in elegant font. Inside, she's listed achievements I know she stole, references from professors she manipulated, and testimonials from classmates she's blackmailed into silence. My hands remain steady as I flip through each page, cataloging every fabrication with the same methodical precision I've developed over months of gathering evidence. The letter from Professor Chen praising her innovative presentation on digital media, the same presentation she sabotaged for me. The recommendation from Jake's former girlfriend Emma, claiming Maya revolutionized their study group dynamics, conveniently omitting how Maya spread rumors that destroyed Emma's relationship. Victoria enters my office without knocking, a privilege she's earned through 18 years of searching for me. The celebration dinner is confirmed, she says, settling into the chair across from my desk. Maya and the Riveras will be at Celestial tonight at 8, table 12 just as requested. Celestial, the city's most exclusive restaurant where reservations require either money or connections Maya thinks she has. The same restaurant where David and Elena Morrison had their wedding reception, though Maya would never know that detail. The same place where the city's elite gather to see and be seen, making it perfect for what I have planned. The media? I ask, my voice calm despite the anticipation building in my chest. All arranged. 3 reporters from different outlets, plus the social media influencers you requested. They think they're covering a young entrepreneur spotlight dinner. Victoria's smile is sharp as broken glass. They have no idea they're about to witness the most dramatic family reunion in the city's history. I spend the afternoon reviewing the slideshow my technical team has prepared. Every piece of evidence I've gathered over the past months, professionally formatted and ready for public consumption. The forged documents, the recorded confessions, the financial crimes, all presented with the clinical precision of a prosecutor's closing argument. But it's the final slide that makes my heart race with dark satisfaction. Maya Rivera, Not just a fraud, but also not actually Riley Morrison's sister. Complete with hospital records, DNA test results, and a detailed timeline of the cover-up that cost me 18 years of my real life. At 7:30, I slip into Celestial through the staff entrance, my black dress and pearl earrings making me look like any other wealthy young woman in the city. The maitre d' nods respectfully. The Morrison name commands that kind of automatic deference, even from people who don't know the family personally. Through the main dining room's glass partition, I can see Maya holding court at table 12. She's wearing a red dress that probably costs more than most people's monthly rent. Her laughter bright and confident as she regales my former parents with stories of her anticipated success. The sound carries across the restaurant like music, the swan song of her carefully constructed lies. The Riveras sit on either side of her like proud parents celebrating their daughter's achievement. Dad raises his champagne flute in a toast, while Mom beams with the satisfaction of a woman who believes she's backed the winning horse. None of them notice the cameras being discreetly positioned around the restaurant, or the way other diners keep glancing toward their table with barely concealed curiosity. At exactly 8 o'clock, I make my entrance. The conversations throughout the restaurant die to whispers as I walk across the marble floor, my heels clicking with the confidence of someone who owns everything she surveys. Maya spots me first, her eyes widening with shock that quickly transforms into predatory glee. "Well, well," she says, loud enough for the surrounding tables to hear. "Look what crawled out from under her rock. What are you doing here, Riley? Don't tell me you're stalking me again." The familiar response, shrink away, apologize, let her dominate the narrative, rises instinctively. But I push it down with the iron will I've developed over months of planning. Instead, I smile with the serene confidence of someone holding all the winning cards. "Actually, Maya," I say, my voice carrying clearly across the suddenly silent restaurant, "I'm here to introduce myself properly." I gesture to the restaurant's private dining coordinator, who nods and dims the main lights. The wall-mounted screens throughout Celestial flicker to life, displaying my family crest and the Morrison Industries logo. "Ladies and gentlemen," I announce, my voice amplified by the restaurant's sound system, "I'd like you to meet Maya Rivera, or as she's been known to some of you, the girl who's been living off stolen opportunities for the past 3 years." The first slide appears on every screen. Maya's forged acceptance letters, complete with timestamps showing when she intercepted and declined them on my behalf. Gasps ripple through the restaurant as diners recognize the prestigious programs listed, internships their own children would kill for. Maya's face drains of color, her champagne flute trembling in her suddenly unsteady hands. "What is this?" she whispers, but her voice carries in the absolute silence of the restaurant. "This," I say, clicking to the next slide, "is the truth. My name is Riley Morrison. Yes, Morrison, as in Morrison Industries. And Maya Rivera has spent the last 18 years stealing from the wrong person." The screens now display the DNA test results, the hospital records, the evidence of the baby switch that changed both our lives. I watch Maya's world crumble in real time as the pieces fall into place in her mind. Every privilege she thought she deserved, every opportunity she believed was hers by right, all of it built on a foundation of lies. "You see," I continue, my voice steady as granite, "while Maya was busy destroying my life, she had no idea she was actually destroying the life of a Morrison heir. Every scholarship she stole, every opportunity she sabotaged, every dollar she took from my trust fund, all of it was theft from one of the most powerful families in the city." The financial records appear next. $50 million in trust funds. The payments the Riveras received for my care. The systematic theft Maya orchestrated with their full knowledge and support. The numbers glow accusingly on the screens as camera flashes pop like fireworks throughout the restaurant. Maya's mother, the woman I once desperately wanted to love me, grips the table's edge with white knuckles. "Riley, honey, you're being dramatic. This is just a misunderstanding." "The only misunderstanding," I interrupt, my voice cutting through her lies like a blade, "was thinking I owed any of you loyalty after 18 years of systematic abuse." The final slides begin to play, recorded conversations where they discuss their preference for Maya, videos of her bragging about manipulating me, bank records showing how they spent my inheritance on her art supplies, while I worked minimum wage jobs to afford textbooks. The restaurant erupts in whispers as the city's elite process what they're witnessing. These aren't just family secrets, they're crimes. Identity theft, fraud, conspiracy, child abuse. The kind of charges that destroy lives and end careers. Maya tries to stand, but her legs give out, dropping her back into her chair with a crash that echoes through the silence. "This isn't real," she stammers, her voice cracking with desperation. "She's lying. She's always been jealous of me." "The district attorney disagrees," I say calmly, pulling out my phone to display the warrant that was issued this morning. "Federal agents are waiting outside to escort you to your arraignment. All three of you." The blood drains from every Rivera face as the reality hits them. Through the restaurant's floor-to-ceiling windows, I can see the black sedans waiting at the curb, their occupants patient and professional. "Riley, please," Maya's father begs, his voice breaking as 18 years of lies collapse around him. "We raised you. We loved you. Doesn't that count for anything?" I study his face, this man who watched Maya humiliate me countless times, who chose silence over protection, who stole my inheritance to fund his real daughter's dreams. The scent of his desperation mingles with the restaurant's expensive flowers, creating a bouquet of justice served cold. "You raised me to be strong enough to survive without you," I reply, my voice carrying across the restaurant like a final judgment. "That's the only gift you ever gave me." Security appears at their table, not restaurant security, but federal agents with badges and handcuffs. The dining room fills with the sound of cameras clicking and phones buzzing as the city's social media explodes with real-time coverage of the arrest. Maya looks at me one final time, her eyes filled with a hatred so pure it's almost beautiful. "This isn't over," she hisses as the handcuffs click around her wrists. "Yes," I say quietly, "it is." As they're led away through the restaurant's main entrance, every eye in the room follows their perp walk. The silence that follows is deafening, the kind of quiet that comes after lightning strikes and everyone is waiting for the thunder. Then the whispers begin, spreading through the restaurant like wildfire. The Morrison heiress found at last, the Rivera family exposed as criminals, Maya Rivera, the golden girl who was really just fool's gold all along. I remain standing at table 12, surrounded by the evidence of my former life's destruction and my new life's beginning. The reporters approach cautiously, their questions respectful now that they understand exactly who they're speaking to. "Miss Morrison," one of them begins, "how does it feel to finally reclaim your identity?" I consider the question as I look around the restaurant. At the faces of people who once dismissed me, who now watch me with newfound respect and wariness. At the empty chairs where my tormentors sat just minutes ago. At the screen still displaying the evidence of 18 years of systematic betrayal. "It feels," I say finally, "like coming home." But even as the words leave my mouth, I know this isn't the end. Maya Rivera has never accepted defeat gracefully, and federal charges won't stop her from one final attempt to drag me down with her. The real test is yet to come. The sound of desperate pounding echoes through my penthouse hallway at midnight, each thud reverberating off the mahogany panels like gunshots in the silence. My heart doesn't race anymore when Maya makes noise. 6 months of therapy and unlimited resources have taught me the difference between legitimate threats and desperate tantrums. Through the security monitor, I watch her mascara stream down her face in dark rivers, her designer clothes wrinkled from whatever bridge she's been sleeping under since her assets were frozen. "Riley!" Her voice cracks as she pleads through the heavy door, the sound muffled by the expensive soundproofing that separates my new world from the chaos of my old one. "Please, I know you're in there. I can see the lights on." I sip my chamomile tea and continue reading the quarterly reports for Morrison Industries, my signature already gracing documents that control more money than Maya stole from me in her entire lifetime. The irony isn't lost on me. The girl who once begged for scraps from the family table now decides the budget for the entire feast. But Maya's desperation reaches a new pitch, her fists hammering against the door with increasing violence. "I'm your sister. Doesn't that mean anything to you? We grew up together. We shared everything." The lie tastes bitter even secondhand. We shared nothing except DNA that wasn't even related, and a childhood where sharing meant her taking everything while I got the leftovers. But I remained silent, letting her exhaust herself against the immovable barrier of my resolve. Footsteps in the hallway announce new arrivals, heavier, more familiar. My former parents have joined Maya's midnight intervention, their whispered conversation carrying through the door like the sound of plotting conspirators. She has to listen to reason, Mom's voice insists, though it lacks its former authority. We're still family, no matter what those DNA tests say. Dad's response is weaker, defeated. Maybe we should have treated her better. Maybe if we had. Don't you dare blame us, Mom snaps, her voice sharp with the desperation of someone watching her carefully constructed world collapse. Maya was always the special one. We made the right choice with the resources we had. Even now, even with everything exposed and their golden child facing federal prison, they can't admit they were wrong. The familiar ache settles in my chest. Not for their love anymore, but for the childhood I'll never get back. Maya's pleading becomes more frantic as she realizes silence won't work. Riley, I know you're listening. I know you think you hate us, but we can fix this. We can be a real family. I set down my tea and approached the door, my bare feet silent on the heated marble floors. Through the peephole, I can see all three of them clustered together, the family unit I once desperately wanted to belong to, now reduced to beggars outside my door. I'm pregnant, Maya announces suddenly, her voice taking on that manipulative tone I've learned to recognize like a snake's warning rattle. Jake's baby. Your brother's baby. You're going to be an aunt, Riley. Family takes care of family. The lie is so obvious it's almost insulting. Jake Morrison, my actual brother, has been in London for 6 months, working on the European expansion of our father's company. But more than that, I've seen Maya's medical records as part of the criminal investigation. The fertility issues that resulted from her eating disorder, the procedures she underwent last year, the doctor's clear statement that pregnancy would require significant medical intervention. Still, the desperation in her voice almost sounds genuine. Almost. I need help, she continues, her words punctuated by sobs that might even be real. The baby needs help. You have everything now, money, power, family. Can't you spare some for the child you helped create by destroying my life? The accusation hits like a slap, but I don't flinch. 6 months of therapy have taught me that Maya's pain doesn't require my participation. Her consequences don't demand my rescue. Her choices aren't my responsibility, but it's Mom's voice that finally breaks something inside me. Riley, sweetheart, I know we made mistakes, but Maya is sick now. She needs medical care, proper nutrition. You wouldn't let a pregnant woman suffer on the streets, would you? Not when you have so much. The manipulation is expert level, combining guilt, family obligation, and moral blackmail into a cocktail designed to crack even the strongest resolve. For 18 years, this combination worked perfectly. For 18 years, I folded under the pressure of being the good daughter who sacrificed everything to keep the peace. But as I listened to them cycling through their greatest hits of emotional manipulation, I realized something profound. I don't feel anything anymore. No guilt, no obligation, no desperate need for their approval, just peace. I unlock the door and open it slowly, letting them see me for the first time since their arrest made national news. Maya gasps at my appearance, the expensive silk pajamas, the professional manicure, the healthy glow that comes from sleeping without fear for the first time in 18 years. Riley! Maya lunges forward, but I step back smoothly, maintaining the distance between us like a professional bodyguard. Thank God you're listening to reason. I knew deep down you still loved us. No, I say quietly, and the single word cuts through her desperate rambling like a scalpel. Maya's eyes widen with shock. In 18 years, I've never just said no to her. Never refused her requests without lengthy explanations or apologies. Never stood my ground without eventually crumbling under pressure. What do you mean, no? She stammers, her manipulative mask slipping to reveal the entitled rage underneath. I mean, no, I repeat, my voice steady as granite. No, I won't help you. No, I won't give you money. No, I won't pretend we're family. No, I won't participate in your delusions anymore. Mom steps forward, her face pale with desperation. Riley, you can't mean that. We know you're angry, but I'm not angry, I interrupt, and the truth of it surprises even me. Angry implies I still care enough to feel hurt by your actions. I don't. Dad tries a different approach, his voice breaking with what might actually be genuine remorse. We know we failed you. We know we chose Maya over you, and it was wrong. But we can make it right now. We can be the family you always wanted. The family I wanted, I say slowly, would never have required me to lose everything before they decided I was worth loving. Maya's composure finally cracks completely. You vindictive bitch! She screams, her true nature erupting through the facade of sisterly concern. You think you're better than us now because you won the genetic lottery? You're still the same pathetic little girl who used to cry herself to sleep. The words that once would have devastated me now bounce off like rain on glass. You're right, I agree calmly. I am the same girl who used to cry herself to sleep. But she grew up to be someone who doesn't need your approval to know her worth. The pregnancy is real, Maya shrieks, playing her final card with the desperation of someone with nothing left to lose. I can prove it. You're condemning an innocent child because you're too selfish to forgive. I pull out my phone and show them the screen, Maya's medical records obtained legally through the criminal investigation. The fertility issues, the specialist consultations, the clear documentation that pregnancy would require extensive medical intervention she hasn't received. The only thing you're carrying, I say quietly, is the weight of your own lies. The silence that follows is absolute. Even Maya seems to realize she's played every card in her deck and found them all worthless. For the first time in 18 years, she has no response, no manipulation, no way to make me doubt my own reality. This is who you choose to be? Mom whispers, her voice hollow with defeat. After everything we did for you? I look at each of them in turn, these people who shaped the first 18 years of my life through systematic neglect and favoritism. Who stole my inheritance, sabotaged my opportunities, and convinced me I was lucky just to exist in their presence? You did nothing for me, I reply, and my voice carries the weight of 18 years of suppressed truth. Everything I am, I became despite you, not because of you. I step back into my penthouse and place my hand on the door handle. Forgiveness doesn't require me to forget. And consequences don't disappear because you're finally sorry. Riley, wait. Maya reaches toward me one last time, her hand grasping desperately at air. Goodbye, Maya, I say quietly, and close the door with a soft click that sounds like freedom. The lock engages with finality, sealing not just my apartment, but an entire chapter of my life. Through the security monitor, I watch them argue in the hallway, Maya collapsing against the wall in dramatic sobs, Mom pacing in frustrated circles, Dad standing helplessly as their family unit finally disintegrates completely. But for the first time in 18 years, their drama feels like someone else's problem. I return to my tea and my quarterly reports, the sound of their eventual departure barely registering over the peaceful silence of my new life. Outside my floor-to-ceiling windows, the city glitters like stars fallen to earth, beautiful, distant, and completely within my reach. 6 months later, my phone buzzes with a notification from the building's security system. Someone is requesting access to see me, and the name on the screen makes my blood freeze despite all my newfound confidence. But that's a test for another day. The morning sun warms my face as I sip coffee on my penthouse balcony, the city spread below me like a map of infinite possibilities. 6 months have passed since I closed the door on my former life, and the view from this height never gets old, literally and metaphorically. The leather of my executive chair still smells new when I settle in for my morning routine, reviewing the quarterly reports that bear my signature and decisions that affect thousands of lives. Morrison Industries' youth development program has become my personal passion project, helping underprivileged teenagers access opportunities that were stolen from me for so many years. Yesterday, I approved scholarships for 50 students whose backgrounds mirror my own. Kids who know what it feels like to be overlooked, undervalued, and written off by the people who should protect them. Their thank you letters sit on my desk like small miracles, each one a reminder that my pain had purpose. You saved my life, writes Marcus, a 17-year-old from the South Side whose coding skills rival MIT graduates. No one ever believed in me before. The words taste like redemption as I read them aloud to the empty office. My reflection in the bathroom mirror still surprises me sometimes. The healthy glow that comes from sleeping without fear, the confidence in my posture that speaks of someone who finally knows her worth. The designer clothes feel natural now, not like costumes I'm borrowing from someone else's life. This version of Riley Morrison is the person I was always meant to become. The friendships I've built at Morrison Industries feel different from anything I experienced in my previous life. Sarah from marketing invites me to her book club, not because she wants something from me, but because she genuinely enjoys my company. David from legal brings me coffee during long strategy meetings simply because he notices I prefer the good stuff from the cafe downstairs. Their laughter rings pure and honest when we grab lunch together, untainted by the hidden agendas and social calculations that poisoned my relationships with the Rivera family. Through my office windows, I can see the building where Maya once worked her minimum wage job before the legal consequences destroyed even that small stability. According to my private investigator's monthly reports, a precaution Victoria insisted on, she's moved to a studio apartment across town, her social media accounts deactivated, her old friends having abandoned her when the criminal charges made association with her socially toxic. The knowledge brings no satisfaction, no joy, no sense of victory, just peace. My adoptive parents moved to a smaller apartment after their assets were liquidated to pay restitution. Dad works at a hardware store now, his management experience apparently less transferable than he expected. Mom took a job at a call center, the kind of work she once looked down on when other people's mothers did it to support their families. Again, the information registers without emotional impact. They made their choices, and now they live with the consequences. Their suffering doesn't heal my wounds, but their irrelevance allows those wounds to finally close. The legal resolution came with surprising swiftness once Morrison Industries lawyers took over the case. Full restitution of the stolen trust fund, plus interest and penalties. Criminal convictions for identity theft, fraud, and conspiracy. Maya served 18 months in minimum security prison, long enough to understand consequences, not long enough to completely destroy her future if she chooses to rebuild it honestly. The courtroom where their sentences were read felt like the final scene of a play I'd been forced to star in for 18 years. Maya's statement to the judge, a tearful apology that focused more on her own suffering than the harm she'd caused, sounded like the death rattle of her old manipulation tactics. When she looked at me from the defendant's table, seeking one last moment of power through eye contact, I simply looked away. Some stories don't need dramatic confrontations to end. Sometimes the most powerful response is indifference. My relationship with my biological parents continues to evolve with the careful patience of people rebuilding something that was broken before it could properly form. Elena sends me flowers every Friday, not expensive arrangements designed to impress, but small bouquets of seasonal blooms chosen for their simple beauty. David includes me in family business decisions not because I'm his heir, but because my insights prove valuable time and again. Jake, my actual brother, returned from London last month with stories of European markets and a genuine curiosity about the sister he never knew he had. Our relationship feels like discovering a favorite book you never knew existed. Familiar yet surprising, comfortable yet full of potential for growth. The Morrison family traditions feel foreign but welcoming, like learning a new language in a country where everyone wants you to succeed. Christmas morning in their Connecticut estate, with David reading classic literature aloud while Elena makes pancakes that actually taste like love. Summer evenings on the yacht, where conversation flows as smoothly as the champagne, and no one keeps score of who contributes what to the family dynamic. But it's the quiet moments that matter most. Elena teaching me to arrange flowers the way her mother taught her. David showing me the business strategies that built our fortune across 4 generations. Jake sharing inside jokes that span years of sibling conversations I missed but can still somehow understand. I've started therapy not to process trauma, though we do plenty of that, but to learn how to accept love that comes without conditions attached. Dr. Williams calls it rehabilitation for the heart, teaching me to recognize genuine affection versus manipulation disguised as care. You're not responsible for other people's choices, she reminds me during our weekly sessions, her voice gentle but firm. Not Maya's crimes, not your adoptive parents' failures, not even your biological parents' loss. You're only responsible for what you do with the life you have now. The life I have now includes a corner office with a view of the entire city, a trust fund that ensures I'll never want for anything material, and a family that celebrates my successes without taking credit for them. But more than that, it includes the kind of inner peace that money can't buy. The deep satisfaction of knowing I survived 18 years of systematic emotional abuse and emerged not bitter, but wise. Sometimes I catch myself looking for Maya's approval in mirrors, or feeling guilty for enjoying expensive dinners, or apologizing for taking up space in rooms where I belong. The old programming dies hard, carved into neural pathways by years of conditional love and manufactured scarcity. But those moments grow rarer and weaker, like echoes fading in an empty house. My phone buzzes with a text from Elena. Family dinner Sunday? Jake wants to show us his photos from Prague, and your father found a new wine he thinks you'll enjoy. I respond immediately. Wouldn't miss it. Should I bring anything? Just yourself. You're the only gift we need. The words make my chest tight with emotion. Not the familiar ache of longing, but the warm pressure of being valued simply for existing. It's taken me 18 years to learn the difference between love that costs something and love that gives freely. As I watch the sunset paint the sky in shades of gold and possibility, my phone rings. The caller ID shows Maya's name, the first time she's contacted me since that night at my door. For a moment, my old reflexes kick in. The muscle memory of always answering when she called, always being available for whatever crisis required my sacrifice. But then I remembered Dr. Williams' words about boundaries being acts of self-love, not selfishness. I decline the call and block the number, the action feeling, like the last period at the end of a very long sentence. Whatever Maya wants to say, whatever final manipulation she's crafted, whatever last appeal she's planned, none of it can touch me anymore. I'm no longer the girl who desperately wanted their love. I'm the woman who chose to love herself instead. And that, I realize as the city lights begin to twinkle below, makes all the difference. The story of Riley Rivera ended the day I closed that door. The story of Riley Morrison, successful, loved, and finally free, is just beginning. Outside my window, a shooting star streaks across the darkening sky. I don't make a wish. I don't need to. Everything I once dreamed of having, I now possess. Everything I once feared losing, I never actually had. The girl who used to cry herself to sleep grew up to be someone who sleeps peacefully, knowing she's exactly where she belongs. And sometimes that's the most beautiful ending of all.